And yeah, you can bend that down. Though I hear it'll pick up your voice even if it was in the ceiling, but awkward.
Mariah Tucker. My name is Mariah Tucker. I live 11 School Street in Claremont, New Hampshire. I'm not quite sure if you guys have seen the artwork that I do in the square, but they're generally portraits and faces. It's kind of nerve-wracking standing up here. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
But I have a couple of problems, including PTSD. I also have seizures, and you know, I have a problem with obviously this many people in a room looking at me, but that's okay. But when I was doing my artwork down there, so many people had stopped and told me that my artwork was beautiful, and I felt like for 1 minute, instead of people looking through me, they were looking at something inside of me. And I don't feel like this is graffiti, I feel like this is a piece of myself. And I know that I haven't done anything offensive. In fact, if you look even at the news reports, these are portraits, these are faces. And I just want to say thank you to anyone in the room that has supported me and told me that my artwork was beautiful, because it means more to me than you could ever possibly imagine. And I also want to say again, I am sorry for anyone that I may have offended through my artwork. I myself was raised on the military barracks until I was 14 years old. But yes, I do have a couple of problems, and the fact that people were supportive towards me, and the fact that people told me that what I was doing was amazing made me feel better than I had ever felt in my whole life. And it hurts me very badly that people would think about this like it is trash or it is rubbish or it is graffiti. And sometimes when I'm drawing down there and these people are supporting me, I feel good. And then I see these people whiz by me in cars that scream at me, "You scumbag," or "Get a job," or like this, that, or the other thing, not realizing why I'm doing it. And I'm not doing it because I'm a part of this group or that group. I'm doing it because it's something I can do well, and it's something that people appreciate, and I don't want to be looked through. That's all.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessica Mack. I don't feel comfortable giving out my home address, but I can say Key, New Hampshire. Is that okay?
I think it is.
Okay. Speaking along the lines of artwork and freedom and all those things, I think that there are ways to express your artistic self without leaving it behind for other people who don't want to be viewing it to have to then clean up. And I feel as though they have been using certain materials which have left residue. The entire common is stained blue and red. And there are things that you have to physically bend down, scrub, spray with a hose. It doesn't just come off with the rain. And to me, I think, you know, if you want to chalk on the ground, that's one thing, but if you chalk on the ground, you should clean it up after you're done. If you'd like to create art in the square, bring an easel, bring some paper, and start drawing, and people will still come over and give the same compliments. You can still express yourself without forcing people to then continue to look at it when you're done. And same goes for when you protest, you bring your sign, you stand with it, and you go home. And also those of us who have taken upon ourselves to help the city clean up the chalk have been harassed and have been swarmed by several people. And she mentioned she has PTSD. I do as well, and being swarmed by several men makes me very uncomfortable, and they don't seem to care about that. So it's an issue of we're being attacked when we try to clean, and I think if it's their right to chalk, it's our right to clean, and we shouldn't have to worry about the harassment that goes along with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bethany Duhane, Keene, New Hampshire. I wanted to talk about some of the damage that happens from the graffiti. I'm part of a group that did a cleanup at the square. We painted the gazebo. When we were there this past weekend, cleaning up the gazebo, there was actually chalk still visible on some of the pillars that I had cleaned up Memorial Day weekend. It was some yellow chalk. And if you look at these beautiful white pillars of the gazebo that is there for everyone to enjoy, there's still remnants of this graffiti. I've heard it said that because it's chalk, it's okay, because it's temporary. I would make the argument that if, as soon as it washes away, you go out and chalk the same thing over again, it ceases to be temporary. And to me, that puts it in the same category as if it was spray paint or something more permanent, because it becomes permanent. I guess that's it.
Thank you. Oh, okay. So you are in favor of a graffiti ordinance?
I am in favor of a graffiti ordinance, yes.
Anyone else wish to speak?
My name is Brandy Roof, and I live in Surrey, but I work in Keene. I wanted to know if downtown Keene is deemed a historic district, why is the language in the current ordinance too vague for Keene Police to act on it? The new ordinance would need to force a new language so Keene Police can act. So whether it be on, no graffiti, or if you're going to chalk, that you clean it up before you leave. I'm not sure what the suggestion is, but obviously the language needs to change if the graffiti's gonna change. I'm very offended by the Civil War monument. The cannon has been written on, the gazebo has been written on. There have been obscenities, explicit pictures. Kids are looking at this. So I just find it very offensive to look
Could
at.
you, without being too explicit, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
describe the explicit pictures? that you-
There have been male parts drawn on the pavement. It all started in front of, I've seen it for years. But I think what triggered the community to react to it and want to clean it was in front of Fat Stuff. I can't repeat the language, there are children in the room. But it was very explicit, inappropriate, children were reading it. And from there, I love art too, I'm an artist. And I have children. I would never allow my children to write on the common. It's disrespectful. That is a place it's a historic district, and you need to be respectful of other citizens in your community. That's part of being peaceful. So, thank you. Do you have any questions or? No.
I just wanted to say one thing. I
Councilor
just want to clarify that there is no ordinance, but there is a state law that the police refer to. Is that correct?
You have a question for
The question through you to, I guess, the
city attorney?
city attorney or the police chief. At this point, there is no ordinance.
There isn't a
We
graf,
rely on-
the city of Keene doesn't have a specific ordinance with respect to graffiti. With respect to your first question, there is a statute, RSA 634:2, which deals with criminal mischief and has been applied in other jurisdictions in New Hampshire with respect to chalking of building faces, facades, that sort of thing. As far as I'm aware, it has never been applied in the context of chalking a sidewalk or that kind of space. But there is a general state statute, criminal statute.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Matthew Gibson, Keene, New Hampshire. I just want to say, I don't think there's anything really wrong with chalking. It's the same thing right on a piece of paper or something like that, yes. But some of the pictures that has been drawn with chalk is actually very good. A lot of people would look at that picture and be like, damn, I want to know who this person is. For example, one of my friends actually drew a portrait, and this guy came to her afterwards and said that, I would like you to draw a portrait of my kids or whatnot. They were actually liking some of the stuff that was drawn, which like I said, to be perfectly honest, I don't think chalking should be banned. It's just a way of people reflecting of what they feel. Some of it may be bad, yes, but in a way, most of it's good. Peace symbols, happy faces, and whatnot. It's not harmful. It's just showing that there's people out there who has high hopes or who is trying to bring people together. For example, the community that my cousin and I are actually doing is families getting together and just getting to know each other. With all that said and done, I would just like to say, please don't do this. It's just another way of people expressing themselves and showing what kind of talent they have, especially for art.
Thank you. Any questions? There are people here for the first time, sir. Thank you. Who is in line to speak for the first time? They could just raise their hand. Yes, so we'll, okay. Yeah?
Hello, my name is Kay Joltna. I live at 41 Douglas Street in Keene, third generation Keene person here. And I wrote down quite a few things, but what I'll do is I will send this to the counselors so that you can review that, quite a bit of details. I am absolutely for the chalking, whatever we're gonna call this, because what is happening here is a very small group of people have taken something very innocent and are abusing it to the point where it's almost gang-like in nature. What they're doing is repetitive. It's reaching into tagging. It's, we are here, this is our turf. There's actual videotape recently of one of them who ended up getting arrested for carrying a billy club in Central Square to hold the square because they wanted to protect their chalk. Now, as I understand it, the reason why chalk has not been called vandalism to this point is because it's considered temporary. Well, if you're allowed to protect it, and if you're allowed to bully people who want to clean it, if you're allowed to sprawl yourself out on the sidewalk and block the sidewalk for hours and hours at end while you create something, and there's even been incidents of people sitting in chairs to protect their chalk, that's not temporary. I was glad to hear someone really liked her art, but certainly there are many other mediums for art, and I would wonder why someone who lives out of town is here every day chalking in Keene, which is to say there's plenty of other places to do art. We have a wonderful community here. It's beautiful. It's a historic district, and I would really like to say it. I'd like to see it preserved that way. I really think Randy Filio did a great job in what he had to say about this, and the reference to New York City, taking care of the little things. We now have panhandlers on the street in Keene, as well as, if people aren't aware, the chalking group is affiliated directly with the people that also Robin Hood, and the AKPF or whatever is Aqua Keene Parking Force. It's done to mark the streets. It's done to let the parking people know we're out here. It's a form of intimidation. And this really needs to stop.
I understand your sentiments, I just,
No, but
we have
this
to
is
be
just saying,
careful
these are
about
reasons
going
why
into,
I'm for it.
assigning, okay,
Thank you. That's all.
responsibility and blame to other individuals.
Yep.
Thank you.
My name is Mary Kate Sheridan. I live in Keene. I just think the chalking, for the most part, looks tacky. When I took it upon myself to clean the square, I deliberately left Mariah's artwork alone. I did think that she was creating art. I washed away what I considered to be propaganda and anything that I found offensive. And I was approached, followed, filmed. Someone got up in my face and intimidated me. And yes, I felt like my freedom was being restricted. But basically, there were 3 or 4 different groups of people that came and took pictures in front of the fountain while we were painting the gazebo this weekend. I haven't seen any out-of-towners wanting to have their picture taken in front of chalk and sidewalk. And that's all.
Thank you.